And he goes head-to-head with the country next door. It is the French champion of the WCS. The Zerg genius, some might say. It's Stephano! Welcome, both of you. Both in the semi-final of the upper bracket. I think you've got one mic between you, so we'll start with Lucifron. I watched you a little while back. You were actually studying replays while your brother was playing. You weren't even out here. Do you even know the result?
My brother's result? Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure whether you cared or not, because you seem to be totally focused on what you were doing. So how much pressure does that put on you right now? Your brother's through to the upper bracket final. Does that make it harder for you now?
Does it make it harder for me?
Is it more pressure?
No, I don't think so. Like, I think it's on my favor. Like, I want to play him in the winner bracket final.
Okay. In terms of statistics, just coming into this World Championship Series, just in the WCS games you've had, both of you are 8-0. You haven't lost a single game so far, but one of you has to right now. I suppose if you're going to lose to anyone, would Stephano be okay to lose to?
Yeah, well, it's never okay to lose to, but yeah.
Okay, and one final question. How do you match up to him? In your words, not Terran versus Zerg, but how do you match up with him?
I think we haven't played in like a long while, so I'm not really sure. I think the score is on his favor, but not too on his favor, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, best of luck in the semi-final upper bracket.
Thanks.
Stephano, you've got an EG shirt from somewhere. Where'd you get that from?
It's Marcus once.
Okay.
Torzai.
Nice. Someone finally got you a shirt. Nagging from Alex Garfield. Stephano, I want to make a comment here. I don't normally do this with players, but you came in this morning. I saw you get out of a taxi at 8:30 this morning after a long flight. You had a cancelled flight. You've lost your luggage, and yet you've gone through the bracket without any problems. How do you concentrate like that a whole day when you're tired?
Well, I still needed like 30 minutes to get used to my stuff, but it was kind of easy to do it. And, well, I expected it to be way worse than what it was, but I did good.
Okay. What do you have to say to the people that say that you're unprofessional and that some of your behaviour this year has been unprofessional? What do you say? Yeah. What do you say to those people?
I think I'm the most professional player in the world.
That's why I asked. And in terms of matching up against this guy, the Spaniards are very strong here.
We used to train a bit together, like 3 months ago, I think. And the match were quite even. I wasn't really winning everything. So I don't really go as a leader on this match. It should be quite close, especially when I see he's going 8-0 like me on the brackets. And hopefully it will be good matches.
Okay, well, the best of luck to both of you. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
our semi-final of the upper bracket, Stephano and Lucifron. Now, we're used to having Tastosis, of course, commentate on these games. We thought it would be nice to bring back another pairing. So please make a lot of noise for the newly dubbed Polaris!
Thank you very much, guys, and welcome back here to the caster's desk for our next series between Lucifron and Stephano, World Championship Series Europe Final. My name is Kyle Loris.
And I'm Apollo. And I just want to state, these two players we're about to witness play against each other are the most talented RTS players around, period. They are so incredibly good. Stephano, I was actually in America for the last MLG. In the bar, Stephano is usually having a couple of drinks here and there.
Maybe.
The Koreans were all just genius, genius, genius. And Stephano is a genius. He's an absolutely fantastic individual. Likewise is Lucifron. Lucifron has a fantastic history as well in Warcraft 3, in StarCraft 2. He seems to never practice as much as everybody else does, yet he comes out and just understands, just sees the game as the Matrix, and is able to pull out victories left and right. It's such a wonder to see.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, if people are familiar with what's been going on in the scene in the past couple of months, there was the fact that, you know, Lucifron just sort of came out of nowhere and won the Gathering 2012. And for all intents and purposes, everyone was just like, wait a minute, he hasn't done anything in ages. And he just suddenly wins this tournament. And it wasn't an easy playing field either. There was phenomenal talent there at that tournament. Lucifron really proving that he is a force to be reckoned with.
And if I'm not mistaken, we are going to go over to Hellspawn for the map vetoes for this best of 3.
Stephano starts with removing Shakura's Plateau.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty normal removal there by Stephano, eliminating the difficult maps to begin with that he will experience against Lucifron there.
Lucifron removes Daybreak.
Daybreak, an interesting choice. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to go into a split map situation against Stephano here, but Stephano could quite easily exploit quite a few angles on that.
I think Stephano may have to veto Tal'Darim now. I think it's kind of the veto.
He's like, wait a minute.
He's like, shut up, Apollo. Come on, Stephano, what are you going to do? Come on. We haven't got all night, Stephano.
What's going on?
Come on, just veto it.
Tal'Darim. We shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be influenced.
Stephano removes Entombed Valley.
Ooh, that's a really interesting pick there.
Yeah.
Stephano did that to pee me off.
Yeah, no doubt. It's all directed at you.
Look at that smile.
Lucifron removes Tal'Darim Altar.
Ooh, Lucifron doesn't want to choose it. Just gets that out of the way. The 3 maps remaining. Antigua Shipyard, Cloud Kingdom, Ohana seem to be the picks that we've experienced a lot this day so far.
Yeah, it's interesting that we've not seen too much Daybreak now in the upcoming games, but... Yeah.
Stephano chooses first map, Cloud Kingdom.
All right.
Don't mind it. Don't mind it at all.
Go into the kingdom.
Lucifron chooses second map, Antigua Shipyard. Therefore, Ohana is the third and decided map. Please shake hands.
All right, it's ready. The 3 maps are ready. The players are ready. We are going to do this in a couple of moments' time as they head to the booth. And wow, what a great series we have coming up just in a few moments' time for you.
Too true indeed. If you're thinking of a TVZ matchup in Europe, these guys haven't necessarily played too much in tournament play. They actually played in a tournament UCAST at the Good Studio, where Stephano was able to take a 3-1 victory there. And since then, they haven't really seen too much of each other in kind of major Premier tournament play.
Yep.
So.
And as Stephano said, they had practiced against each other, and he had won quite a lot of them before. But these guys, just going to go over what we said before, are incredibly talented. Lucifron just seems to come out of nowhere. It's not like we, compared to a lot of other players, you kind of see the momentum building before they do well in an offline tournament. I think the Gathering is the biggest example earlier on in 2011, where Lucifron was not playing at all. He was always a great player when he does play. He was actually one of the creators of early Terran builds in the beta in the early days. But he wasn't practicing, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, he's attending this event. Well, I guess he's not going to go too far. And he just ends up beating everybody and taking the victory home. And he's doing it again here today. Not many people are expecting him to be practicing hard, but he's here and he's crushing FaZe so far.
He is indeed. And, you know, Lucifron, in terms of, you know, how he practices in general, going up against Zergs, he has a formidable practice opponent in the form of his brother, Vortex. And both of these players, once it becomes to the really big stage, they step it up a notch. They are on form and they are good to go. And also, guys, just as a slight tangent here, don't forget to go over to Twitter, hashtag SC2WCS. Not only tweet us, at Kylaris and at Apollo SC2, but also at EG Stephano Raid RC, as well as at Current3 Lucifron. These 2 players, very formidable and very worthy of your praise.
All right, let's see if Stephano can make this guy's creep spread as we get into the next game. We'll be loading up in just a couple of moments' time, waiting on the invites. These 2 fantastic players. Stephano hasn't dropped a map this far along. And then if you go back to the WCS he played in as well, hasn't dropped a map. Throughout the entire of his WCS World Champion Series run, 0 maps lost. And that is pretty impressive so far.
Now that you say that, I actually think Lucifron didn't drop a map. He actually went 2-0 against his brother in the finals of the World Championship Spain Nationals. So both of these players are looking at their first loss, potentially, in this first game in the World Championship Series.
If I'm not mistaken, Lucifron may have dropped a game against Happy earlier on here. Just a single map may have lost, but overall, undefeated so far. So we'll have to see how this is going to go down. A bomb on Earth, Terran, Banelings. Need more nukes.
Apparently, I can't join the game.
All All right, so just waiting for this to get underway. We'll be ready in a couple of moments' time. There is Stephano wearing his new EG shirt. His debut was made most recently against Team Liquid, of course, in the Premier League, where he managed to beat two of the finest Team Liquid players, Tasia initially, and then Hero. And this is his second time representing Evil Geniuses. Seems to be going rather well for him, considering the circumstances Red-Eye laid out before, how Stephano arrived. Didn't have his luggage. He's not even playing on his keyboard or mouse. And, well, I don't know how he's done it, but he manages to do so.
I'm very interested to see what type of TVZ Lucifron's going to bring to the table. I am dying to see some mech in this tournament. I really, really want to see some mech. As personally, it's my more preferred choice of style. I really think that Marine Tank nowadays, going up against these very formidable Zergs, is so hard to make work.
All right, so we are almost ready to begin this game. I don't know what Lucifron's going to bring to the table. The games I've seen him play against Zerg, well, he's pretty much a speed-oriented player. He's very, very fast. He's very intelligent with what he actually wants to do. But the game is now starting, so enough about that. The countdown has begun. It is going to be EG Stephano going up against Krontai Lucifron. Who's going to take it? Well, we are here to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen of Stockholm, Ericsson Globe, are you excited for this next series? Not too bad. As we get loaded up for Cloud Kingdom, Apollo, this is going to be fantastic. So, without further ado, guys, let's get on with those player intros. Spawning up into the top right-hand corner here as our Red Zerg, formerly of Millennium, now of Evil Geniuses. You might have heard of him. Give it up from EG Stephano. And spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner here, his brother has already advanced on to the winners upper bracket final, and he is on currently 3 esports club. Give it up for Lucifron.
Cloud Kingdom going to be the first map between these two guys. Usually it gets drawn out quite a lot here. I think Stephano's going to be playing a style that he's very much so used to. I don't think we're going to see too much deviation going on to game number 1, but definitely very interested to see what Lucifron's going to bring to the table as we're now in to the first map.
Can be very, very dicey indeed. We've had quite a few TVZs, admittedly, during the tournament, and a lot of them have just been very, very biocentric, very trying to eke out into those later stages of the game, try and go for some drop pressure, try and deny a few bases from the Zerg. But going up against Stephano, Stephano makes the game look, again, I've said it many a time, but he makes the game look majestic. The way in which he flows the game, the way in which he controls his units to actually rally all of his reinforcements to specific locations when you're like watching his stream, for example. So going up against a player as formidable as Stephano, I mean, he's got a 66% win ratio in this matchup, which is pretty high, but that's not even his best matchup statistically. So he's so formidable in this matchup. It's going to be tough for Lucifron.
Lucifron is very smart, though. He has a lot of really smart builds, adapting to his opponent. He's a very intelligent player who will start to make strategies revolving around Stephano's weaknesses. Already, smartly from Lucifron, knows exactly what Stephano's going to be opening as every other Terran player does, or every other Zerg player does with the hat tree down, says, well, let's go ahead and get the command center down nice and early on. The thing is, the difference between Stephano and a lot of other Zerg players, Stephano's not afraid to go ahead and say, all right, time to attack. And he always knows the right time to do so. So with this Overlord going over the top of the natural, and upon seeing this command center going down, Stephano has now the decision, will he be aggressive against this command center first, knowing the units and tech will naturally be delayed from this?
Yeah, too true. And Lucifron, I mean, to a certain degree, Lucifron having a practice partner as viable as someone like Vortex could be well prepared for some kind of early aggression. Vortex is a Zerg player that does like to mix it up from time to time. I mean, very famously, recently during the Intel Extreme Masters, Vortex exhibited massive swells of aggression constantly. And Lucifron, I mean, this is his best matchup statistically again for for a reason. 57% win ratio here. And because he has these practice partners, because he is so formidable with being able to deal with these builds, Stephano might have a hard time wiggling around there.
One thing to note that I've seen Stephano drastically improve on over the last few months, especially with spending time in career, is creep spread. That's something that has actually become one of his strengths now. It used to be something he used to lack on a little bit, but he has refined it. And when I say refined, a lot of the times, a lot of Zerg players creep spread, but they kind of sprinkle creep tumors all over the place.
Yeah.
Stephano has them in spaced out, going in the correct directions, never overbuilding creep tumors, not wasting energy, and actually is one of his strong points. As we do see now Lucifron going for that as soon as he can with the gas, going for the reactor Hellions, coming out to take some map control away.
Oh, it's an interesting little wall as well that Lucifron created at the front of that there. He didn't go for the... Oh, now he's just adding on that supply depot. There we go. So the standard wall off complemented by a little bit of an extra wall off there, just making him actually doubly extra protected, as long as, I mean, depending on what he's going to do with the barracks once he switches it out. And for now, it looks like Stephano just wanted to take those 2 gas geysers at his natural. And I like that decision from Zergs nowadays. Taking the 2 gas geysers at the natural is saying, hey, well, do I have 2 or do I have 4? You'll have to venture in and try and find out. Whereas normal gas timings, if they take them in the main, of course, it's like, well, you scout out the natural, there's no gas timings there. Well, it's like, oh, well, he just must have taken 2 in his main. It's fine.
Very, very true. We do see from Lucifron the reactor Hellions coming out, and then the Starport and Tech Lab coming down. So he's basically using an all-round build here. It gives you great scanning information. It gives you the ability to harass. It gives you the ability to defend as well, depending on what he sees through those initial Hellions coming out here. And then he can start to deviate around, whether he gets and dedicates to Cloak, whether he doesn't, whether he goes for faster tanks initially, or whether he goes double engineer and main fast. But the Banshee is coming down. He's about to have 200 gas. Is he going to dedicate to going Cloak as well? And yes, he is. Stephano, on the other hand, third base going down. Super, super standard by Stephano so far.
And interestingly enough, we actually haven't seen any add-ons on the barracks just yet. So there's all the potential in the world that he could actually stick with some kind of mech play, which I'm kind of hoping for, to be honest. I keep kind of coming back to it because basically I'm just hoping for it. And we'll see, like, for example, how many Banshees he commits to during this, because again, there is that very, very nice style that we're seeing from people like MVP recently of going for a lot of Banshees very early to deal with, you know, some certain Roach plays and then transition on into a very cool mech play. So we'll see.
We will see indeed. Usually the standard with the Banshees is going to be 2, and that's when, you know, it should stop. You don't want to overspend too much. You can get the job done with 2 like you can 3 to 4 here, but the Hellions are getting a little bit closer. This Queen on the third base off Stephano. Lings do come around. Stephano could potentially lose a Queen here if he's not too careful, but looks like we do have Lucifron back in ring.
And all the while during that, Lucifron was indeed supply blocked, so he wasn't able to get that second Banshee up and running just in a little bit. Now throwing down those supply depots, trying to clear out the third location, and he's taking the double gas.
Armory's coming down as well, so he's double armory coming down, and third command center. We will be seeing mech play come out from Lucifron in this game. Exactly what you wanted to see. Stephano will need to scout this out. He doesn't see the third base. The Overlord just a pixel away, but he does see the gases coming down at a really fast time on that natural, sorry. So we will start to know, well, what is that gas really for here?
Yeah, and I mean, loses a Banshee there. Nice little bit of a defense by Stephano, bringing that down. Plenty more Hellions being added on. Double armory now with those extra factories on the way. And look at this, he's still producing the Banshees. So there's all the room in the world for him to be able to go for that MVP mech style that's so, so fantastic and so hard for Zergs to deal with. I really hope he continues making those Banshees.
And the one weakness to it, unless, depending on how many Hellions keep on making out, is pure Lings. Queen does go down. A lot of Lings are coming out just to go and stop that third base. That's really cheeky to throw a third base down so early, just expecting Stephano to sit back and defend. Where are the Lings going to go from? He should be able to send about 20 across the map, but is he going to try and kill the Hellions first? He should just go straight for that third base because he could get a cancellation on it. Oh, it's going to finish though, so it can easily be lifted up. So Stephano's going to miss that opportunity, unfortunately.
And Lucifron realizes that with the one Marine that was actually spotting those Zerglings. So he brings his Hellions back, knowing there's a threat at his third, and the Lings for Stephano. He pulls them down there just to draw his opponent away. In definition, that's a really good defense there by Stephano, because he's keeping his opponent's units preoccupied.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, he had to go back for. But Stephano now working on, well, will be working on 2-2. The Roach Warren is coming down as well as with the Infestation Pit. But Lucifron's going to have access to 6 gases momentarily here. Stephano knows exactly what he's playing against. With the Overseer going in, seeing absolutely everything here. And now Stephano will have to start to make a Roach Bling and Infestor combination. And to be honest, what's really strong against this as well is making Corruptors, but I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, very much so. Hellions actually trying to get some good surface area here. Lings don't get the surface area they require. As for now, a few Queens might end up even falling, but nice transfuses there on 1 or 2 of the Queens, keeping them alive. Constant transfuses. As for now, he's trying to put on the pressure, but keeping the Queens so alive on the longevity.
Oh, Hellions have got into the natural mineral, and there's a lot of drones going down here for Lucifron. And he's doing a lot of damage. Great surround by the reinforcing Lings. Do clean that up. Stephano does lose a few drones. Not too many, 10 killed actually, but if you compare the worker count, 65 with 6 gases compared to 55. Lucifron's playing this out very nicely, but he lost those Hellions to protect this third base now.
Yeah, not too bad a deal at all there. So coming back to the Corruptor, well actually hold that thought once again as Stephano going to go for a bit of a counterattack, catching a lot of those SCVs off guard. He has to retreat back as quickly as he can do those Hellions, and Thor though holding strong, but he needs to lift the orbital command. It's very perilously close. Oh dear me, that would have been very, very scary, but he still needs to repair.
Indeed he does. Really nice counterattack there by Stephano. Realizing that Lucifron threw the Hellions away, so why the hell not? Can't he get away from this? Stephano now taking a 4th base at the same time. And we do see the Ling upgrades continuing to come through. Creep spread going to be very important to get the surrounds necessary, as well as pathogen glands on the way. Roaches will survive a long time here with the +2 carapace, getting in there, being a nuisance. And things are starting to calm down a little bit.
That's a very interesting place to go for a 4th base in terms of going up against some kind of mech play. Oh, but there we go, it's the 5th. So again, it's that double expansion thing that we've been talking about recently. So again, coming back to your Corruptor thought.
Roach Corrupt is actually a very strong combination of units against this style. Obviously, Stephano's not trying to do that, and he is just relying on Ling Infestor, and then just going for the trademark Hive units to come straight out here. So going straight for the Ultralisk, looking to smash this down. Hold that thought though, Hellions are making their way through. Not really going to get too much done. With the Infestors out now, we have... Oh no, Infestors not actually out yet. They haven't been constructed.
Yeah, he's just chilling out for now, just sitting around on these Zergling numbers, and he has a lot of bank right now. So it looks as if he's going to be transitioning into really fast Ultralisks. I mean, once the Hive finishes up, where else does he spend this money other than throwing an Ultralisk cavern down and getting mass Ultralisks out very quickly?
So nice creep spread denial here by Lucifron. Going to start to bring these down. And these Queens are going to have to be used for defense against these Banshees, but of course the Banshees are going to be loving every second of that.
Yeah, they are. They have a lot of DPS against those Queens, and they're going to soak up a lot of that energy in terms of the transfuses, and one goes down, killing off one of those Banshees. A very nice pick off and control there by Stephano.
Really nice by Stephano, and unlike the Roach Corruptor combinations that have been popping up and stringing up a lot on the European server now, Stephano's actually continuing to build Queens and add Queens into his combination of units with Overseers. He's going to be targeting down those Banshees relatively fast.
This is so interesting here by Stephano, but hold the fort once again as the Hellions dash on in. He doesn't have Blue Flame yet, but the Hellions in numbers are going to do a lot of damage with a big volley there on some of those drones. But they do get a surround off Stephano, going to clean up the rest of the Hellions.
And there's the Ultras cabin coming through. A lot of high-tech upgrades as well for Stephano, going straight for 3-3 on these Ultras, as well as the Adrenal Glands. He's saving up his money for a very long time in this game. The Ultras cabin is near to completion. Stephano can't really do anything there. That 4th base is going to get down and established, and all Lucifron really needs to do is just keep on going. Great scan, great revealing of the Ultralisk cavern. And well, let's just point out one thing. Thors against Ultralisk, once fully upgraded, they're going to be doing a lot of damage. The plating is the most important thing here.
But then, I mean, exactly. And what does he use to even make those Thors even more useless? He goes for the Neural Parasite. He controls God knows how much of the army to the point where the Ultralisks are just shredding up everything else. And it's going to be very, very difficult. But once again, Hellions just coming in. A lovely fungal growth there, though, locking them down. Does he have enough to keep it going? He lands another fungal, and will they get away just barely there as no more fungals left?
These 2-2 upgrades on this mech doing a lot of damage, and Lucifron has good position on this base. Stephano gives it up. The Ultralists are not ready yet. And Stephano is caught a little bit in trouble here. The base does go down. Nice little pickup for Lucifron. Is he going to continue forward here? He has got a lot of starports down to start making his switch over to Ravens and Vikings as well. And he continues to go through. The Ultralists are out, and Stephano has to look to bring this army down.
It really does. It's getting in a dangerous spot right now. Those siege tanks in a very, very horrible spot for him to lose that third. One Ultralist getting a little bit overzealous and does push forwards to its death. But Zerglings and Infested Terrans raining down from the skies as well as those Ultralists try to come in. But there's so much firepower here from Lucifron, and he's gonna clean it up. Very, very nicely done by Stephano.
5 more Ultralists are on the way here for Stephano. We've seen no use of those starports yet. More command centers coming down here. 2 more. And we've seen some Hellions get in there. I have no idea why he hasn't actually researched Blue Flame. But doing a lot more damage to the economy of Stephano. But Stephano's still at 75 drones, and with this base staying alive.
Oh, and there's Blue Flame on the way just now, so it looks as if he's just... I can't say he's forgotten it, because every time you're using those Hellions, you see, oh, well, that's not blue, that's red. So, I mean, I guess it's coming out now at this point. He's getting that +3 weapons down as well, adding on a lot of siege tanks as well as the continuation of those Hellions. But with the rising Ultralist count, the Hellions become more and more less effective unless they're going to soak up just damage.
Great scans by Lucifron, looking for that Spire, looking to know how long he has before the Broodlords make the presence on this map. And right now, by picking off that expansion on the left-hand side, he's actually filtered his army movement in one direction, from his 4th base, up the hill, then down, straight to Stephano's 4th base, which is what he's gearing towards here. And these Hellions keeping map control, keeping free spread low, which it is very low so far here. But Stephano has a great army. Caught unsieged, caught out of position, Stephano's going to destroy everything. Caught filtered through into tank fire with +3 attack on the way. Ouch. Not looking as good.
Yeah, he only has 2 Infestors out right now. And just coming back to these expansions, as you were saying, it's very hard to get expansions up and running against mech, because if you, say, for example, expand to the top left-hand corner, then the Hellion's going to come in once again, getting a few drones. But they will be cleaned up. But yeah, if you expand up to the top left-hand corner, then you're always really spreading yourself out very thinly, and you're viable to some kind of some kind of Hellion counterattack. Whereas if you expand here, you're literally 2 or 3 siege tank leaps away from imminent doom from your opponent's 4th. So Stephano trying to get this expansions going, but Lucifron not letting him, really.
Banshee's coming into the combination of units as well here with Cloak. Will be targeting down these Infestors in the center of the map there. Already a 1 gone down, a second one being targeted. Really smart play by Lucifron to use this scanning, looking for the anti-air. And Stephano has to use a fungal, and while he loses another Infestor, this Banshee will fall down, but really great cost-efficient snipe there by Lucifron, who has established will establish a 5th base and a 6th base on the left-hand side as well here. And Lucifron playing excellent.
He really is. Those Blue Flame Hellions now into action, killing off a lot of drones once again. How many drones do we actually have lost in this game right now? It's looking like quite a lot. 45 lost, trying to go for a bit of a push, but a Planetary Fortress saying no roaches, no.
Looks like Lucifron taking position on the high ground, looking to bring this down. Stephano's already left this base. He's given it up. He's expanded to the left-hand side and will continue to do so. It looks like Stephano has or will be making those Broodlords shortly. With the Corruptors on the way, the Greater Spire has just finished up. Oh my god, Hellions make their way through.
Oh, this could be very damaging. There's a lot of drones there, and he gets roasted up there. That's a few good volleys, even trying to burrow it, but the scan goes down. Lucifron ripping up Stephano's income.
Lucifron is playing absolutely fantastic here. He's making almost 0 mistakes in this game. The Vikings are around to deal with the Broodlords. The Banshees are doing damage left and right, and he's got a great army movement here. Every single counterattack angle is blocked off by Planetary Fortresses, and now more and more scans go down, revealing the Broodlords. He knows that he can or has to back off with tanks and Thors, start to get the Viking count high once again before he takes another round.
Yeah, and Lucifron was prepared for this all game long. He had 3 starports down. He didn't have add-ons on them for the longest time, but he's had these all game long, and he's even adding on more starports. It looks like he might make a transition to Ravens potentially, which could be very, very deadly.
I mean, he could go Ravens, he can go battle cruisers. He's gone double upgrades on his air now, as we see in the production tab. 4 more starports coming down. And Stephano's upgrades for his air, that's the only upgrade so far, just the +1 carapace. So he's actually going to be hurting in terms of long-term upgrades. We do have a Ling run by going straight. Oh no, he's actually not going to send. Yes, he is going to send these units down. That Planetary Fortress will not last long, but it really doesn't matter when Lucifron has another base at the 9 o'clock here.
Too true. For now, Lucifron playing a very, very nice game against here Stephano. I mean, Stephano was probably pegged, you know, the favorite coming to this by a lot of people, but Lucifron always on fire. Does take down that base, so a nice pick off there by Stephano, trying to equalize up the odds. And again, you can't count Stephano out right now. He has a very nice composition, and he's just going to sacrifice a few SCVs, and he's already got a few more drones up here with the Hellions. So once again, how many drones do we have killed off? 79 drones by Lucifron right now.
Absolutely consistent harassment here by Lucifron, knocking Stephano down to just 30 drones at this point, having to rebuild 10 at a time to kind of recollect his economy. But Stephano's army still looking pretty deadly. The 1-1 upgrades are coming in for the Vikings. Let's have a look at the Viking count. Currently at 9 with 7 more on the way.
Wow.
Stephano seems to be gearing up for an attack here momentarily. Has taken the high ground, knows where Lucifron's next mining base is. Stephano starts to make his march down. Where are those Vikings? He has to spread in case of those fungals with the Corruptors.
Fungals land on the Banshees to seal those off, just denying a little bit of an extra dynamic that he has to deal with. He kills off the base, and he's going to retreat back for now, trying to stifle as much of Lucifron's income as he possibly can.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do. Pick off that base and then just look for a different angle. He's taking a big fight into like 16 tanks all the way back. So he can't really engage there. He needs a much open, more space. More command centers coming through to fortify this. Lucifron is going to make his movement now. A lot of tanks here. These Ultralists are just going to melt to these tanks. The Corruptor count is looking at 10 versus 19 Vikings.
That could be very, very scary indeed here for Stephano as the Vikings flood in. He's separating them very nicely as well. Just getting a few pot shots off, but the Ultralist is actually going to go for the push, as well as Infested Terrans landing on over a lot of this bio. Thor's dancing around in the back, not doing too much right now, but those Ultralists are going to disintegrate. But at the same time, look how many tanks are left. They're just killing off so many.
Oh, the Ultras have destroyed every single tank here. It looks like the Vikings are going to beat through this Air Force. But what does Lucifron have on the ground right now? He's lost a lot of Vikings. 130 supply versus 130 supply. 10 Infestors on the way. And we see 5 more Vikings, 3 more Thors as well. This is a very close match between these two guys, landing equally striking blows.
Oh my god, coupled with Queens, Corruptors, and Fungals, those Vikings actually suddenly took a nosedive in that fight. Yes, they killed off the majority of the Broodlord, but not enough. And right now, both players are equalized here. Yeah. 147 supply to 140. This couldn't get more close.
And Stephano needs to prevent this new base on the left from actually being mined from. A command center's floating towards it, and if that gets down on a planetary fortress with a couple of tanks around, that's not going to be broken down easily, especially now Lucifron's force is concentrated on the left-hand side, knowing that's where Stephano's mining bases are as well. But with those 10 Infestors out, looks like we are going to have a little bit of push. Remember, Neural Parasite is a viable option here against these Thors and tanks.
True, and the big problem here for hold that Thor once again as Stephano looks to push in with the Ultralisks leading the charge. Few Infested Terrans rain down once again at these locations, trying to shut this down before the planetary fortress morphs in. All the Ultralisks are down. All he has really is Infestors, and no.
Very tense moment right now as Stephano has Vikings under siege from the Infested Terrans. The base is going down as well. Stephano has a lot of Thors to contend with as well. There's only a couple of Ultras left.
There is.
We are waiting on this to sort itself out here. Very, very tense moment here for both of these guys. Of course, Lucifron staring us down. Stephano, likewise, 135 supply for Lucifron, 115 for Stephano. And Thors, at this stage of the game, Kalaris, they're doing the damage, and that's what we're seeing on the screen, and we will do in a couple of seconds' time as well.
And the big problem for, I guess, both players here right now is that both players' economies are waning, and neither really has a bank either.
Yeah.
So as efficient as you can get with the Thors, as you're rightly saying here, that's going to be playing big factors against these slightly less efficient units of Stephano.
We're in. All right, let's get back into this now as those Thors are just, and the tanks at the back, but look at how many Queens there are. Look at how many Infested Terrans there are. Is Lucifron going to be able to hold this position?
Don't know. Right now, there's 1 or 2 Thors that are actually going to end up dying there. He does continue those transfuses on that Broodlord. It finally goes down there, though. Does he have enough energy? Yes, he does. Continually transfusing on the last Broodlord. And he doesn't die off. The Vikings have to retreat from the Infested Terrans.
And that position was broken down. The planetary fortress was broken down on the left-hand side. Stephano pushing forward. More and more Infestors are being constructed here by Stephano. 6 more total. And Right now, Lucifron needs to find some base to mine from. His income's incredibly low here.
It is indeed, but he understands his priorities, using a mule here to be able to try and repair, but the Infested Terrans bring it down! Somehow Stephano finds a way to even kill another command center of Lucifron.
Infested Terrans playing a big part here with more Infestors on the way. Stephano's held the strategical point on this game, in this game right now. That 9 o'clock base for Lucifron is everything. He needs to get it because once he establishes that base, he can start to crawl to these back expansions of Stephano. The top left one, the center middle one as well. But without that there, he can't establish himself. He can hold the Zelnoga Tower, but he needs the income. He needs a point for his army to gather towards, and that has given Stephano a lot of time by bringing this down to start to build this army up once again with 2 to 3 mining bases currently.
So true. The Hellions, though, going to try and shut down a little bit of that, as for now they do get good coverage on a few of those circles.
And Stephano suffocating Lucifron right now. In the bottom right-hand side, we see a command center cannot land because of a borrowed Zergling. Stephano will not allow Lucifron to take this base, as Stephano is ready with a 16 Infestor squad making its movement here down this ramp. The tank count is decent, but it's decent in a clumped area. It's going to be very difficult to move them up to actually defend that command center.
Very much so. He's forced to lift off. The Corrupt is going to tickle away at that for now. He needs to deny that with the Vikings, but yeah, he does get away. And again, you know, just with those tanks, just in general, being as clumped up as they are, Funkles could potentially be very, very lethal against that if the Ultralists allow them to, allow them to close the gap there. So that can be very, very scary as well for Lucifron.
Yeah, I think it's very smart from Stephano to be using Infestors at such a stage in the game where money is so low.
Yes.
He's using the energy so smartly with the Infested Terrans, keeping his units alive, just being overall more cost efficient, but a great assault here by Lucifron again in the drone line. And so far, 94 drones in this game have gone down.
Fungal locking that down, but a lot of damage has been done. Some roaches here trying to replicate the effectiveness of Hellions, but they're just chilling out, a bit lazy. As for now, we have extra Ultras coming down here for Stephano. And with the continuation of this mech play from Lucifron, he's trying to find a way to constantly deprive his opponent of some income. If he could just hit the 4th, then Stephano would literally have no money whatsoever.
Stephano's taken the sting out of this mech momentum we saw throughout this game here. Lucifron has to try to keep these expansions, man. He has 2 orbital commands now on the wings of this map.
Oh, he drops the scan, sees 4 more Broodlords morphing in. And, I mean, Stephano's composition is just getting more and more scary here. Ultra, Broodlord, Infestor. How do you go up against that? Lucifron needs a phenomenal army composition, but look at this, he's going up to 192 supply, adding on plenty more Thors as well as Vikings.
You know, a very minute detail, but Lucifron has not gotten the +3 plating, a really important upgrade at this stage of the game where units matter more than anything here. Every little edge you can get, you need to be able to bring this down. Remember, this is a best of 3 between these 2 guys in the winner bracket semi-final. The first map so far here on Cloud Kingdom, and Lucifron maybe making his movement once again here.
Might do indeed. A few Funkles go down there just for defensive purposes for Stephano, as he just wants to keep himself in this location. Doesn't want those Vikings straying too far forward. But right now, Lucifron slowly moving forward. He's providing himself a really nice concave. Broodlord's going to move forward, as are the Ultras and Infestors. So many Funkles and Infested Terrans here for Stephano, but is he able to power through this mech force before it kills him off?
What great targeting from Lucifron. He brings down all the Infestors, but the Infested Terrans remain. There's no Infestors left from Stephano. Went from 16 to 2.
Those Infested Terrans trying to waddle back to deal with the Vikings, but just a few more Corruptors will bring down the Vikings. Right now, Stephano taking a supply lead for one of the first times in this late game, and Lucifron here is looking a little bit down and out. He needs to get his economy going, and he needs that replenishment of this force. Otherwise, those Broodlords are going to cause him no end of havoc.
Yeah, Thor Viking going to be really crucial here, but with a lot of Lings coming in to reinforce, a very tense moment here. The Vikings at 2-2, remember. The Corruptors only have +2 carapace. They will survive for a lot longer. Lings hit the mineral line here. 103 supply versus 119. It's as close as it can be through the majority of this game, 35 minutes now.
So does he have enough corruptors and bungles to shut down the Vikings? Is the all-important question, as the Vikings will push in once again, trying to bring down the corruptors. There's a lot of them, though. He has to be very, very careful. There's Lucifron here in this situation with the Broodlings and Zerglings nibbling at those Thors.
Oh, these Thors have to be microed so well right now, and Stephano seems to be losing his grip on this, with the Vikings taking control.
Oh, a nice fungal there once again, though, locking down the Vikings, but he still has the Javelin missiles that are doing a lot of damage to those Broodlords. And what does he have to deal with this? There's a few Infestors waddling in, but they don't have that much energy. He's bringing the SCVs to try and repair this last Thor, but they're not going to repair it.
Oh, Mules have been landed on that command center. Needs to keep it alive. It's 30-20.
Oh my God.
He goes down. So incredibly close. Stephano prevents his opponent from mining again, while being able to mine from 2 untouched bases. 45 supply, and with that command center going down, we talked about it a lot being the point to hold on to.
Right now, he literally has no mining. He just has this long distance mining, and it's going to be shut down by the Zerglings here. Stephano, he may have done it. Right now, 11 Harvesters for Lucifron to 41 of Stephano. If he just replenishes just a little more here, look how much bank either player has. The answer is none. Both players struggling here on just such few units, and Lucifron trying to hold on with a few effective units himself.
All right, this is very tense right now. Stephano building more Corruptors, more Infestors, waiting for the energy to bank up. These tanks and Vikings going to try and get this expansion mine again. There's a borrowed Zergling, which is so frustrating because he needs every set of energy he can get to mine and get some income to rebuild his army. Stephano with a 50 supply lead, and that will continue to grow. He's got right now 41 drones, good enough on 2 bases, and he's going to keep on building his army size up while Lucifron's struggling hard.
Yeah, indeed. And he does finally clear that out, so he does drop the mules to get a little bit mining going. But right now, Stephano climbing in terms of that supply lead. 60 supply up here, morphing in a Broodlord as well as a few more Corruptors. And once that composition of just Broodlord Corruptor itself gets going, and adding on 26 Zerglings as well, that is very, very brutal.
Stephano's going to launch an attack shortly. He has an Infestor amongst the tanks. Infested Terrans will rain down, and Stephano will try to claim a victory here on Cloud Kingdom. It's gone untouched. There's no reason to scan. There's no reason to build a turret here. And Lucifron is about to take the brunt of Stephano's army. 1, 2, 4 supply, 56. Here he comes. Here comes the Frenchman.
Stephano moving forwards now as the siege tanks actually loads of infested Terrans. So much splash damage actually injuring those tanks. And nice fungals on the Vikings as well. Lucifron looking a little bit down and out as Stephano powers through to this expansion. It's looking very difficult for Lucifron here. GG!